The Becoming Flame podcast broadcasts pure, unfiltered power exchange that stokes the flame of your being. Because it's time to remember. It's time to return. It's time to become flame. This episode of Becoming Flame is brought to you by Phoenix. Phoenix is a ritual luxury house devoted to erotic feminine embodiment. We create alchemical intimacy oils and functional fragrances infused with spagyric botanicals designed to soften the nervous system, open the body, and awaken life force vitality. Our formulations are crafted as tools of self-initiation. They are not cosmetic. They are not decorative. They are designed to be felt. They are designed to shift. Each oil facilitates a cellular shift into relaxation and receptivity, activating and opening up an archetypal femininity that your body knows and is yearning to step into. These oils allow the body to open safely into sensual intelligence, magnetism, and creative power. They open the libido and open creative sexual energy. When the body is safe, it softens. When it softens, it receives. When it receives, it creates. And when it creates, the entire world shifts. We believe that women who sit deeply in their bodies, in their erotic intelligence and sovereignty, become powerful creators of their lives and the environments around them. Our products are initiations into that coherence, luxury in experience, devotional in use, transformational in effect. Get yours now at phoenix.com. That's PHENXX.com. The Sleeping Phoenix. It's one of the most powerful incarnation crosses in human design, and it's also the signature of this upcoming 2027 global shift. Now, I didn't know any of this at the time that we were talking PhenX. We thought originally the name of the company was going to be the phenomenon or the phenotype of XX chromosomes. And as I went through my initiation portal with my plant teachers, the next human teacher would always come to give me the next information. And so I was talking with this woman who was telling me all there is to know about this 2027 shift that in the theory of human design, this has been deeply, discussed for a really, really long time. And it's this understanding the Sleeping Phoenix Cross offers deep insight into what's ahead. And for those of us born under this cross, the transformation is huge. The Sleeping Phoenix is about individual awakening. It's about self-trust, creative renewal, and rising from within when our outer systems begin to collapse. It's not a comfortable path. But for someone who has a lot of Phoenix energy, for someone who rises a lot, for somebody who has literally lived a series of lifetimes eroding, collapsing, recreating, rising from these ashes, the moment that she started explaining to me that women were specifically going to be leading this time of the Phoenix Incarnation Cross, and that it was going to be commencing in 2027, it felt like this deeply felt knowledge of course, I understand. I'm here, I'm ready. And I couldn't have done this company 10 years ago or 5 years ago or whenever. Like, I needed to go and do all of the Phoenix Cross incarnation work ahead of time so that when the collective group of women were going through it, there were already tried and tested teachers available, ready to say, here we are, come back into your body, come back into your feminine embodiment, and available for those women who are standing up earlier than, who are a little bit ahead of the energy, and then will be able to be teachers and usher these more mainstream collective through. And it was so it was so interesting because when I really started to understand this Phoenix Cross, so it's this incarnation cross is the theme of your life, or the soul imprint that you carry in this lifetime. And it weaves together all the gates activated by the positions of the sun and the earth at your birth. I don't know a lot about human design. It's not something that I've gone deeply into, but this is how it was explained to me. And the incarnation cross is the sleeping phoenix. It's made up of gates 55, 59, 34, and 20. So gate 55, as I understand it, is the gate of spirit. So dealing with the emotional death, spiritual abundance, those kinds of things. 59 is about intimacy, breaking through barriers and connections, intimacy with self in that way that you can break through the barriers, that you can create the connection because it's held within you. It's the intimacy in you. Gate 34 holds pure, raw power, life force energy, right? And the gate 20 is the gate of now, presence, self-expression, here in the now. And in feminine embodiment, you can't be anywhere else. You can only be in the now. And so when you put this all together, the sleeping phoenix represents this powerful theme of personal rebirth. It's not about fixing the world out there. It's about trusting what is rising inside, letting your own truth lead the way, and showing up with unapologetic presence, unapologetic embodiment of who you be. It's deeply individual, it's emotional, and it's often unpredictable. It means that you can no longer work with anybody else outside of you, because not only are they going to be going through their incarnation cross of the phoenix, but their codes, their way will no longer work for you. And it's so incredible that I used to feel like those very traits made me incompatible with the world around me in every single way. Every single way. And yet, after working with the plant medicine, after working with the botanicals and the spagyrics that we have chosen, or rather who chose us to work with, and who chose to be the leaders of this, who chose to stand up and come forth and say, I'm willing to be that now. I'm willing to be this compass. I'm willing to bridge the arc. It's such a specific frequency. It's such a specific frequency. It's being called the global cycle, and that's that shift that we're going to be seeing in 2027. So we're actually leaving the cross of planning, which has shaped humanity since 1615. Can you understand that? In our lifetime, we are actually shifting an entire cycle, an entire cross, and we're moving into the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And the cross of the planning emphasized collective support structures. So government, education, healthcare, religion, it was all around systems and community cooperation. But that cycle is ending. We know that. We can see that. We can feel that. Everything around us is collapsing. And if we continue to look outside of us for structure, for safety, for what to do, we will only feel panic. We will only feel destruction. We will only feel the death of the systems happening outside of us, because this new energy asks us to live from within, not from an externally imposed order. It values emotional truth over logic. It values presence over planning, because when you're in presence, you are in synchronistic, spontaneous creation, and you know where to go in that moment. But the moment you come out of presence, the moment you come into artificial time, into planning, into this false world that's created, that's being destroyed and being replaced, you won't know what to do. You will feel disoriented. You will feel challenged. You come into presence, you let go of the plans, you let go of all of the ambitions that somebody else set for you, and you simply say, connect me to who I am and the truth that I be and the codes that I am here to activate. Then you move into embodiment. You let go of conformity. And so for those of us who are carrying the sleeping phoenix, or for those of you who are really, really attuned to the energy, and you can feel it even 2 years out, a year and a half out, it's like the world is finally catching up to where you've been living all along. And if you don't yet understand what I'm talking about, if you wanted to work with these plant teachers, you would be very prepared for the times ahead. For many of us, though, we live feeling like we're out of sync with the world, where you couldn't tolerate environments or others, and everybody else might seem to move effortlessly through things. They might be able to say, oh, I manifested this and I manifested that. And you're sitting there going, I'm so embodied and I'm so in tune and I'm so capable of hearing everything, seeing everything, knowing what I'm doing. I know who I am. I sit in my truth. I discern and I create from who I be. And the world is not effortless for me. I'm out of sync. Corporate settings, reward disconnection. There's no depth. These YouTubers or Instagrammers are literally talking shit and making millions. There's no depth. There's no truth. There's no wisdom. What is this? This all feels like cages, not containers. You know, relationships might have felt difficult to show up in fully. You might have been too emotionally intense. You might have been, when someone says, I want to share the depth of myself with you, and you go, great, let's go to the bottom of the deepest level of the Indian Ocean. And someone goes, oh no, I kind of just meant like a meter out from the Mediterranean where we were like knee deep. And you become labeled as too much, too feeling, too exaggerated, too deep, too. And that's where the too much comes from. You are a woman before your time. You know how to go through life cycles. You know how to do the burning down and the starting again. You know how to do the walking through grief, the walking through uncertainty, and that quiet belief that something more honest is coming. It's on the other side. It's here for me. That's how I've always been feeling. And you've likely felt that your depth, your perception, your capacity to ride the wave, your capacity to see all that you see, feel all that you see, be all that you be, made you a misfit, made you out of sync, made you a failure, made you unsuccessful. But you're before your time, babe. And so 2027 isn't about collapse. The sleeping Phoenix energy isn't about collapse. It's about this transition. And the reason that this is important for you, even if you don't know what I'm talking about, and the reason why it was important for me, because I didn't know anything about the sleeping phoenix, but when I started to feel into that energy, I was like, I was made for this. I've been offline until now. This is why I feel fired up now. It's not a horse year thing. It's the sleeping phoenix is coming online. The codes within my being are being activated. Okay, Kate, let's go. Here we are. And so is it by coincidence that I created a company? Sorry. I need to pause. I did not create this company. Is it a coincidence that this entity has been fully formed, ready for me to step into for the perfect timing when the sleeping phoenix will wake up, when the incarnation cross will change? Of course not. But this company couldn't get off the ground until I went through all of the transitions and the embodiments and the changes and the shifting and the cultivating from within first. I needed to stop outsourcing my power. I needed to begin cultivating it from within. So, what is held within the codes of this, not only this company, but the products that it creates, is sovereignty over security, presence over performance, inner alignment over external approval, embodiment over expectation. And I got it over and over and over and over and over until I said, okay, I finally got it, until I proved, until my body operated that I finally got it. And how you'll know that this energy has been affecting you, even if you have never heard about what I'm talking about, is because if you're tuned into me, if you're tuned into Phoenix and what we're creating, if you're tuned into, erotic intelligence of plants, you're very most likely already feeling the influence of the sleeping phoenix. And so you might already be questioning systems, craving solitude, feeling drawn to rebuild your life in these more authentic ways. And maybe you've already done that. Maybe you're where I'm at and you're like, I've already fucking burned it all down. I've already sat alone by myself for 2 years. I've already questioned everything that I can question, and now I'm rebuilding from the answers that I feel and that I know and that are awakening within me. If you're not fully there yet and you need some help in the container, the plants are the container for you. They were for me because nobody else could hold me this. Nobody else was clean enough and secure enough and coherent enough and held the frequency strong enough without wavering, without faltering, without letting my energy and the impact and the strength and the vibrancy and the fullness of my energy take them out, even when I was in my trauma, even when I was in my traumatic state. And that's what I love about plant teachers. They just are. They hold that. I really started to feel what they were transmitting to me in my nervous system, in my dreams, in these quiet ways that I just said no when it didn't feel true anymore. And it just started. So you're already being supported by the energy of this incarnation cross. And these plants are coming here to activate that faster, deeper, and more profound for you. And if you are a leader of this new era, if you have come here and you've known since a very, very, very young child that it's like you're here for these times, think about if you were trying to shift into this new space 10 years ago. You wouldn't have been ready. I wasn't ready. I thought I was ready. I wasn't ready. I see myself now. I see who I've become through the too many deaths to count, too many rebirths to count. And every single time I rise and I rise and I rise, it depletes me. It takes something from me as well. And I think that's the difference with this reincarnation or with this re-rising that I felt this time around, was through the support of the botanicals. It wasn't so depletive. I wasn't so angry. I wasn't so unsupported, alone, lonely, And I don't think I truly understood that until I went through it with these teachers. Okay, so I want to talk now about the individual botanicals that we create in the oil, in the alchemy oil. So there are 4 botanicals that work together, and they all came to me in dreams, and we've been dreaming. I'm not going to share all my dream teachings because I need to accept the sanctity and the ceremony of that, but I will give a very, very high level. The other reason I don't want to share too much is that I don't want you to have any expectation of outcome. Whatever your journey is for you, whether it's a profound or not experience, I don't want you to judge that. I don't want you to think that you did it wrong or that, this is what you should expect and therefore you didn't get it, therefore it's not right or you're wrong or any of that. And so having zero expectations when you come to work with plants, it means you're far more receptive and open to what they're actually giving you and not what somebody else received. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you about the fundamentals of the plants and nothing else beyond that. Okay, so the first one is blue lotus. It's temple opening. This is sacred Egyptian medicine. It's all about receptivity, sacred atmosphere, subtle perception, dream state, eroticism, orgasm, relaxing in the body. It belongs to this especially sensory refinement, subtle energies, connection with the sacred. It's about slowing down. It's about feeling. It's about relaxing. It's about opening and being receptive. It's a relaxant, but it's also around euphoria and it's an aphrodisiac in the sense that she's very relaxing and euphoric, and then that allows aphrodisiac tendencies to allow you to feel heightened awareness around sensations and that kind of stuff. Okay, used by Cleopatra, used in ancient Egypt, very popular today, goes under the name of blue lily or nymphea. Yeah, pretty famous. You can find out a lot of information about that. Has a beautiful scent, and it's just really, really relaxing and opening. Okay, then Damiana. She's creative, earth energy, circulation. She's going to circulate, blood, bodily stuff, but also every other energetics as well. Erotic charge, playful embodiment, and And it's really about life wanting to move through you. So there's that erotic vitality, life force energy that the codes are putting into you. Really like, let's open, let's move, let's go, let's circulate. Because the feminine is about circulation. Okay, passion flower, settling the noise, the outside, easing mental noise, relaxing, letting go of hypervigilance, creating conditions for safe openness. This is really where intimacy with safety is grounded into the body as well. And she really says, stop gripping, stop contracting, stop holding, just open, let go, and allow desire to arise naturally. So it's a relaxant as well that really allows that desire to come up when it's given space. And if there's something that you can take away from this in every aspect is when you stop gripping, when you stop contracting, when you stop holding, and you open and you're receptive and you're available, desire will naturally come up because you are setting your intention and putting your attention into life force vitality. And then calmness is really around instinct, rooted perception, discernment, embodied directionality. It's like, okay, now that you're safe, you can really feel enough to know what is yours, know your energy compared to another's, know who you are compared to another. So if you really understand these 4 plants, and it's these plants that brought me into relationship with this woman, with who I am, through skin, through breath, through ritual, through scent. I think that's why I believe that Phoenix is not really perfume in an ordinary sense. It's not even intimacy oil in an ordinary sense. And it's really been hard to reduce the power of this into marketing speak. And the precision of what this is doesn't exist in the world yet. And so it's this interface. It's the meeting place between the intelligence of the plant and the intelligence of the female body. And it's the activation of these two when they come together that meet in the right conditions, something begins to reorganize. The woman softens, the woman softens, the senses sharpen, the noise drops, the truth gets louder, and you can finally hear it. You can hear that preciseness of truth. And this is where Blue Lotus matters. Blue Lotus, to me, it's not a loud plant, it's a temple plant. It softens the field, it opens receptivity, it widens your inner space, and it introduces a sacred atmosphere. So many women do not treat their bodies as temples, even though we've been hearing that, that old cliche for so many decades. But Blue Lotus really activates the codes within you that says, slow down enough. Feel what is here. Feel what is already here. Feel who you already are. And come into communion with that. See yourself in a way that you've never seen yourself before. And you might start to this is something that really happened for me that, I would walk by a mirror and I'd be like, wow. And I don't think I could see my physical form. I don't think I could see what I looked like, but I could see what I was carrying, who I was, the fullness of me, the truth of me, the beauty of me. And I started to see myself so much deeper than my physical expression, my physical appearance. But I saw my physical appearance. It wasn't like I was seeing light or something like that. My physical appearance started to take on a different form. I started to see the beauty expressed in my face. I started to see my cheekbones, my eyes, the brilliance of the color, the length of my eyelashes, the way that my hair was just so. And I started to express love and gratitude for what is already here, for the beauty that I already am. And that's naturally erotic, right? What is the number one reason that women want to go out and have a relationship is because they love themselves. They feel great and they want to share that and experience that, reciprocated between two people. And I really loved that widening of the inner space. that I could take up, that I could hold intimacy with myself, that I could get to know myself in a very different way. So then passion flower, well, that matters because many women don't need more change. They don't even need more charge. A lot of us think that we have low libido, or that we have no libido, or that we have no energy or no desire or no eros. But actually, we do. We don't have a safety space to put it. We don't feel safe within our own bodies. We don't feel safe within our relationships. There's no container of capacity to open that up in a really safe way. And sometimes what you actually need is not more charge, not more libido, not more aphrodisiac, but less static, more grounding, relaxing the body, opening the body, bringing the body down into relaxation. It helps to calm the mind, to quieten the mind, to ease the overactive nervous system. It helps the body be more inhabitable. You're someone you want to be inside of again. You want to live here again. And you don't always have to grip. You don't always have to be looking around. Am I safe? How am I safe? And it's really helping you to activate the codes of internal safety. Obviously, it's an aphrodisiac in the sense that it does ignite the passion. It does ignite, the desire and all of that. But really what it's doing, and the reason that we've included it in the very feminine way, is it's the unfolding and the opening and the relaxation and the safety consideration within self first. And Damiana matters because it's warmth, it's circulation, it's creative life force. It's that spark that says, yeah, there's still life in here. Yeah, girl, you got it. And it's like your sensuality is not gone. It's just waiting here. It's waiting for you to unfold. It's waiting for you to come home. It's waiting for you to feel at home within yourself again. And then we bring in calmness, and it brings that edge, that clarity, that rooted knowledge. And it restores that inner blade. It can feel the difference between attraction and misalignment, right? It's not going to go into anything it doesn't want to go to. It's the difference between longing and depletion. You're not going to just give yourself to somebody because, they stared at you in a bar, and that 3 weeks later you're going to be lying on the bathroom floor going how did I give myself to that guy? You become really discerning, but you become really aligned and accepting of, knowing the difference between openness and danger. And it really helps you to have that safety and that clarity and that deep connection to self, to feel closely enough, clearly enough to choose. So for me, the erotic intelligence of these plants is not abstract, although in many other ways it is. There's a precision that comes with this. There's a precision of understanding who you are, and they activate the truth of you in each of these really profoundly different ways. But also the scent helps evoke that femininity, helps evoke that neural pathway back into self, back into choosing self. So letting go of performance, letting go of hypersexual imagery, letting go of seduction as performance for another. And it's really about being in the experience of being met in your own body, in being able to feel yourself, in being able to be open without abandoning yourself, without, I need to be open now, what do they say? Lie back and think of England. It's not that kind of an opening. It is the opening that you are with self, of going, I'm not available for another yet. I'm going to take a celibacy. I'm going to journey deep with myself. I'm going to diet on these plants and really work with them and follow the teachings and show up every day at the same time full class. I'm going to open my dreams and I'm going to have a dream journal. I'm going to keep a glass of water by my bed every day and maybe, take a snippet of that water and crystallize it and find how the water is working with me in my dreams, and the plants and what they want me to know. And you become a student of yourself. You become a student of your own intimate connection with yourself. And that's really the thread that's available here. That's the way in which I would approach coming home to self is this commitment to myself in the same way that I would commit to any other relationship. You cannot have a relationship with someone you don't go on dates on, you don't ever see, you don't ever sit down with, you don't communicate, deepest, truest desires and longings and knowings about the other person. And so you need to do that with yourself. You need to commit to a connection with yourself. It's about showing up to true intimacy, to true safety, and to true openness, to true listening to self, and having that as something that is truly sacred, truly beautiful, because that presence is erotic. It is alive. And that is the deeper work of these plant botanicals, of these spagyrics, and of Phoenix in general. It's not to make women more consumable. It's not to make them more aesthetically sensual or aesthetically fantasizing. It's not to participate in the return of the female body as something for another person, but rather to participate in the return of the female body as sacred, intelligent, creative, discerning, receptive, fully alive. Intimacy with self is being fully alive, right? So when I speak of erotic intelligence of plants, I am speaking of plants as partners in remembrance, partners in suffering, partners in purification, in sensation, in listening, in coherence. And when I speak of erotic intelligence of women, I am speaking of what returns when they let go of their fortifications, when their armor comes off, when they turn inward to self and say, "Hi, I've been waiting to get to know you." And it's not about anyone else but her. She's been waiting to fall in. She is the love of her life, and she is so willing now to be open and dated and courted and flirted with and fallen for and opened into. This is a woman who feels safe to feel again, who can trust again, who can sense again, who chooses herself, who receives herself, who knows herself again, and who can belong to herself. That's erotic intelligence. That's why it matters. That's why this matters. You can go on all the dating websites. You can go to a matchmaker. You can go to do everything. You can work with a coach to increase, whatever you have for your business goals. You can do all these things with all these people outside of you. But when a woman is in contact with her erotic intelligence, she is not just sexually alive. She's creatively alive, spiritually alive, relationally alive, intuitively alive. She cannot be manipulated. She cannot be seduced by any old guy. She cannot be sedated. It is so hard to convince an empowered woman that she is broken. And so the beauty industry will never bring coherence into beauty, because how do we sell her something if she's not broken, if she's not needing fixing? How do we separate her from her own knowing? How do we separate her from the pack and sell her more stuff? And so coming into your own self, into your own intimacy, into your safety of you, into the erotic aliveness of you, means that you can no longer be messed with. It means that you are free. Because what is awakening in a woman who is erotically alive is not simply desire. It is truth through the body. And these plants know how to help us listen. It has changed my life in ways that I could never fully describe. And I will never, ever be the same in the best possible meaning of that word. Have a beautiful day. Feel free to get into contact if you have 1,001 questions. I will continue to try to answer them. It's been great to talk to you, and we'll speak to you next week.